No one can stop me.
What's going on, guys? Crooked here from Off the Brink TV, bringing you another video. This time of my Demon Hunter, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about the build that I'm using, a little bit about the gear that I have, because I'm real excited to show you guys one specific weapon that blew my mind when I got it, and from my understanding I think it's either borderline best in slot or is best in slot. However, I've also heard that based on this weapon, there are a few builds that people are using. I don't know if this is the build they're using, but it is my build, and I find that I could do Torment 1 efficiently. Now, we all know that there's a thin line between efficiency and being able to do it. Obviously, I could probably do Torment 2, but it wouldn't be efficient based on the length of time that it takes me to down mobs in Torment 2 as opposed to doing Torment 1 and pretty much running through it. And if I'm in a party, definitely gonna run through it even better. One of the biggest things that I've learned recently is public games are key. If your boys aren't on to run Torment, definitely open it up to public. You'll be surprised how much quicker you could get things done and how much more gear you'll get. Another thing before I go into the Demon Hunter, another pro tip: do not close the rifts after you defeat the final boss of a rift. Keep on going. Don't end the quest and close the rift. Keep on going. I don't know, I think it spawns more elite packs or whatever. I've noticed that after downing the final boss of a rift, that they're just elite packs in all the unexplored areas of the map. It's awesome. I'm going to be doing some recordings of some Torment 1 stuff. There won't be any gameplay at the end of this video. However, I will put up a separate video with some gameplay. So, into the build. We'll start with the build, obviously. So right now, I'm using Elemental Arrow as my left click, and I will tell you why in a minute. Super exciting. I'm using Screaming Skull because of the fire damage. Now, if you get any gear that has any type of fire damage or any type of elemental damage on it, obviously you want to gear your abilities towards that. Because, believe it or not, having fire skills that deal 19% damage like I have here on my wrists, that's amazing. That's a lot of damage for those abilities. And as you can see, my paper damage is 408,000, and my toughness is nice for that amount of damage at 6.7. But the main thing here is a lot of the damage on my legendaries and on these certain attributes does not show up on the paper damage amount, but they affect the gameplay a lot, and it's really awesome. I just wish that it would show you the effect that it has on the actual, you know, statistic. But going back into the abilities, I'm using Cluster Arrow loaded for bear. I find it's great. It's very bursty. I like being a burst Demon Hunter. I like being able to build that hatred and then just boom, 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 and light them up and really take down the mobs. It's a really awesome way to play. I'm using Vault and Tumble. Obviously, everybody knows Tumble's one of the best runes for Vault. I'm using Smokescreen with Healing Vapors. Now, since the way I'm gearing, I'm not using really any life on hit. It's crucial to have Healing Vapors because it's basically every time you take a little bit of damage. Now, you want to have high resist all, however, you definitely want to focus on your resist all. I have around about 800 to 1,000 to maybe a little over 1,000. Actually, I think I'm about right around 1,000 as my lowest. However, you want to be using Smokescreen with Healing Vapors because instead of using your potions, which you can when you get low, you know, you take a little damage, and because your resist all is high, you don't take that much damage, so you're able to pop your Smokescreen and get that 15% life while invisible. Really, really good rune to have with the Smokescreen and this build in particular. I'm using Vengeance with Seath. I think that's how you pronounce it. I like the Seath because I get to generate hatred and really run my cluster arrows hard body, like just going in with the cluster arrows and regenerating that hatred super quickly. Awesome, awesome rune for that. However, you can go with, I forget what the other, I think side cannons or from the shadow. You can, you know, pretty much any of these runes are going to be good for the Vengeance. They really did a good job with Vengeance in Reaper of Souls. I think it's an excellent addition to the Demon Hunter. Definitely balances them out with some of the other classes. And I'm using the Wolf Companion. The reason I'm using this is because of the passive is great, but when you're active, you're getting 30% increased damage, not just for you, but for all your allies within 60 yards. So if you got a buddy that's rolling with you that does some sick damage, you're increasing his damage 30%. So if he has around you know, 900 damage, you're increasing that by over, you know, 200,000, 300,000. So good stuff. I know that there's a chest, a legendary chest piece that you can have more wolf companions. I'm interested to get that. However, the proc on my chest piece, legendary chest, is really sick too. So I don't know if I'll ever even get the opportunity to switch to the other one if I do find it. The passives that I'm using is Blood Vengeance. Your maximum hatred is increased by 25. Love the extra hatred. It gives you the ability to get those right clicks off, get those cluster arrows out. Awesome. Night Stalker, your critical hits have a chance to restore 1 discipline. I tell you, my discipline, even though I have a lot of gear that gives me plus discipline, I really don't have a problem with discipline regeneration, and that is what comes into the efficiency with the Torment 1, etc., because I have a lot of resist, and I'm not really losing that much discipline when trying to recover from any types of hits. And you want to make sure if you're doing rifts, because obviously rifts are the best to do at this point because of the buff 2 days ago or a day ago, you want to make sure that you're using discipline. You want to make sure that, you want to make sure that your discipline isn't running out super quick and that it's efficient for you to do those difficulties that you're at. Like I said, thin line between efficient and being able to do something. You want to be efficient. That you want to be running through quickly but still be in the, you know, torment. Night Stalker, I'm also using. I actually just said that. My bad. Archery, another great one. We all know. Come on, this has been good since, you know, pre-expansion. And Ambush. Now, because I'm a burst build, I like to use Ambush because I just throw out my hatred ability, cluster arrow, just right away on them, and that'll do 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. So you're doing real nice bursts off the bat, and then you're just going in. So those are the passives that I recommend for my build. You could switch them up if you have any other suggestions. Definitely want to hear them. So, but that's what I'm using right now for abilities. Now, onto my gear. The gear, honestly, if it's not a weapon in terms of gems, you want to make sure that you're putting your resist all into your gear, because you're going to get a lot more out of the resist all gems than you are if you put dexterity in or vitality or something else, because 70 resist all goes, or 72 or 74, whatever the gems you're putting in, or 68, that goes a lot longer of a way, a lot further than those other gems or those other smaller stats for those in terms of, you know, performance to price, you know, performance to price basically. Here's the weapon that I wanted to show you guys. It's the Critter Shot, I don't know how to pronounce it. However, look at the legendary attribute. Elemental Arrow now generates 4 hatred, and this goes back to what I was saying about a lot of procs on these legendaries aren't showing up on paper damage. I am using Elemental Arrow for free, but not only that, it's generating hatred. So right now I'm using the Fiery Skull, the Screaming Skull, for 300% weapon damage as fire because of those cuffs that I have, right? The braces that I have. It gives me 19% more fire damage. I love it because it also has a chance to make them fear, and since I'm spamming this all day anyway because it's my hatred generator, I'm fearing people away from me. I'm fearing mobs away from me and wrecking them with cluster arrow. You know, it's awesome. It's awesome. If you find this bow, I'm pretty sure it has to be close to best in slot. I do have a question for you guys, though. I wanted to either reroll Vitality for more damage or reroll the weapon Holy damage to try to get either fire damage or higher, because I feel like if I can get... You see here, I can get 981 to 1490. If I can get another 200 weapon damage on that, I feel like that would bring my damage up and not have to sacrifice the Vitality, which is a lot of toughness for me, especially at 682. So I want to hear from you guys what you think I should do, and I'll definitely do if I wind up getting a comment on this video. I know I'm not the most popular, but any help would be appreciated. Now, this is key, and I don't know, some people don't know this, and I didn't learn this until, you know, long after I played, you know, a while ago. But you want to try to recover your vitality and your toughness on your shoulders, your boots, and your helmet. and maybe your belt and those types of items and your pants. That's what you want to get your vitality and your resist all on. On the other items, you really want to focus on damage because, as you know, you can't really get crit hit chance or crit hit damage on your shoulders and items like that, unless it's a legendary, where I don't know what would be there. However, that's where I like to recover my toughness from. But then on weapons like the gloves, I want to go for attack speed and crit hit chance. I'm actually waiting to get a little more toughness on other items. I do have a rare pair of gloves that has attack speed, crit hit chance, and crit damage, and that's best in slot. They're not high rolls. They're not the highest rolls. They are high rolls, so it wouldn't be complete best in slot, but that's what you want to go with on, like, a gloves, for example, and rings too. You want to go for attack speed, crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Really focus on your damage on your rings, your amulet, your gloves, your weapon. And right now I actually got a legendary quiver as well, and I wanted to show you this. It gives me nice attack speed over the cap of a rare, which is 17%. I have some hatred regen on here. I actually re-rolled. I wasn't going for vitality, but wind up getting some vitality, so it's nice to make up some toughness on your offhand or your quiver if you're using a two-hander, right? And you want to kind of have vitality on your weapons if you're using two one-handed bows, so that's a good place to recover toughness as well. But look at the legendary proc here. 37.1% chance to inflict bleed for 363% weapon damage over 5 seconds. That is pretty beastly, I have to say. And +9 maximum discipline is always a great secondary to have. I got really lucky with that. That allowed me the opportunity to reroll one of the other stats and not have to worry about secondary stats and wasting the reroll, bind on account, bind on item, whatever on that. The boots, not the greatest, but notice how I got my resist all on my boots. Right now I'm also movement speed capped because I have the movement speed on my bracers and on my boots. And I also have crit hit chance on my bracers, which is really nice. But if you don't have crit hit chance or high damage on your braces and you only have rares, try to get your vitality on there. Try to get your resist all on your bracers. These are legendary, so I was able to get some really nice stats on those. My amulet, some pretty basic stuff, just spreading around some damage and some toughness. I have 553 vitality, 90 resist all, but I have some attack speed and crit hit damage on here as well. Look at that crit hit damage. You can get a good rare amulet. This is better than like 3 of the legendary amulets I got. You know, you can get some really good rares that'll up your damage and your toughness, you know? And the helmet needs some work. But I wanted to also take note to these pants. These are great pants and a great set to get, especially if you could get the boots, because like I said, you want to get your toughness from those items, right? Now, if you could get the 2 set, even the 3 set, or if you're lucky enough to get a 4 set, look at how this is going to improve your toughness. 250 vitality for your 2 set, and these are common set pants and set items, so this is not going to be hard for you to get if you're in Torment 1. 250 vitality increases damage against elites by 10%. The 3 set reduces damage from all elites by 10% and 25% extra gold from monsters. Not that big a deal, but look at the 4 set. You are immune to Desecrator, Molten, and Plagued monster ground effects. You are basically immune to elite damage AoE effects. That is amazing. That has to be the best type of defensive set bonus I've seen. So really good that the pants and the these other items are what's going to get that 4 set, and you don't have to have all 5 pieces to get the 4 set, which is good. So you can wind up getting a good chest piece that doesn't go with the set, that's better as just a regular legendary. And now on my chest piece, I tried to re-roll. I don't remember what it had. I think it was like increased damage on an ability I don't use. So I actually re-rolled that, got the hatred regeneration, but there are some other good re-rolls that you can get. But look at another legendary proc that doesn't show up on paper damage here is the dodging or getting hit by a ranged attack automatically shoots a horning rocket back at the attacker for 773% weapon damage as physical. Again, there's some awesome procs on these legendaries that aren't going to show up in your paper damage that can really take your game to the next level. So you want to get into Torment as soon as possible. You want to try to get into that efficient level of Torment so you could start getting these drops. And another big thing is if you're not at where my damage is or toughness, that's okay. If you're a little lower and you want to get into Tournament 1, open the game to public. Open the game to public and you will start reaping the benefits of other people melting, you know? And just to show you this, look at that. Elemental arrow, not wasting any hatred. And I love the bow too because it's got a quick attack. Awesome stuff. So that's about it. Like I said, I'll put up another video of some gameplay. This way you don't have to keep going to the end of this video to see it. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, recommendations, just want to say what's up, whatever, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, if you like this video, remember to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. That's about it. Thanks for watching.